Hey Book Channel, quick update. Um, it is August 8th, 9:30 p.m. and I am 4.5 chapters into doing the final edits. Um, I've often in the past, I think I did for Transgression, I did for Book 2, and I did for Delve to the Damned, where I got a printed version of the book and then I did hand edits so that way I could do edits while also at work. And I still might do that. I'm debating it. I've been just editing on my PC every day. Every day is taken up. Every day, my writing time in the morning is just taken up by editing time. So it's the same thing. I'm just editing instead. But if you watch my last video where I had a small frustration with a printer, I now have a working printer. Huzzah! So I can actually now print them out one chapter at a time and take that chapter with me to work and do my hand edits while on break. So that would be like 20 minutes, 25 minutes a day just doing hand edits at work. And then, um, I mean, it's not as much time. I wouldn't get as much done. Maybe if I did I don't know. I have to think about it because I don't really need to do the printout version to do it that way because I think I'm pretty content in just editing on my PC as I go. And like those edits were mostly just like spell check stuff and then like um, clarity reading, just kind of going through and being like, okay, how is this flowing? Is this paragraph too much or whatever have you? But I'm doing pretty good at just editing normally, doing that same thing, but just on my PC. So I might not print, I might. I don't know. I think it all depends. It depends on how much time I have outside of being at home. Um, but that being said, no, since. Sorry, I had to pause the recording, had to rip ass. Had to shit my pants. Um, anyway, so. Fuck. Chris, you gotta do that shit in your main channel, not here. These people don't fucking know you like the main channel does. Anyway, so yeah, I'll do my edits one way or the other. They're gonna get done, and I'm like I said, I'm already 4.5 chapters in, and I took like a 1 week brief hiatus from doing the edits. Let me sink into my chair and get comfy. I'm sleepy. I took like a 1 week or so, a small break after getting to the end to just like reallocate myself, and then also that was last week. It was where I had the author signing event, so I was like trying to like hype myself up for that and keep my mind focused and like think about book one and just think about the books as a whole, as an entity, as opposed to what I'm doing right now. So um but yeah, so I'm 4.5 chapters in, and it's going really fast. I can definitely see myself like putting my fucking nose to the grindstone and just getting this done in like a month or two. I definitely could, and I do want to make more of a concerted effort in doing that, more of a conscious effort doing that. Because there's a big difference between, sitting down to write and sitting down to just read what I wrote and make it better. It's so much easier. The biggest thing is just making sure that, like, I'm so used to taking my time with the pacing of the story and making sure that, like, everything is happening in a natural pace and that, like, I describe things in in between that make it feel like we're not playing hopscotch with a story, but instead um, we're rolling along the pavement as opposed to skipping down the road. Want to like live in the moments and make sure that they each scene and each chunk of dialogue flow into each other in a way that it doesn't feel rushed, because I want this book to feel um, just lived in and somber, because like you're going into it and you know the characters. If you've read everything you should have read by now, you are intimately familiar with these characters in the way that I feel you should be by then. And so there doesn't need to be a lot of preamble. There doesn't need to be a lot of reintroducing to how this character feels or reacts about a situation. I don't have to necessarily set up the moment where a character starts to get emotional out of nowhere and like lead into that emotion. This character, so when they do suddenly get emotional out of nowhere, why they're in that state, especially because this follows book 2 and whatever have you. So um, but accepting that, I still want to make sure that it doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel like it's just going by fast. But I also need to be mindful of how long the chapters can be, because there is a lot of introspection. There is a lot of narrative description of what a character is experiencing, because they're experiencing something unique to their existence. Um, but they do have some slight insight on it, so it's a weird like foreign familiarity, like a perpetual paralyticism. Is paralyticism a word? A paralytic perpetualism with the P's. So if that makes sense, I think that makes sense. Perpetual, it's ongoing, it's continuing of its own momentum. Essentially, it's perpetual, and then paralytic. It's a dichotomy of the two. They're two sides of a coin. So it's paralytic, and but it's perpetual. It's perpetual paralyticism. If paralyticism is not a word, I've officially coined it because that sounds fucking sick. That sounds fucking sick. Anyway, it's going along good, and I think there's 17 chapters and an epilogue. I think. Gotta double check that. Not that important anyway, but um, should be able to get through it really fast. And I'm going to make an effort to try to write more because I can get so much done so much faster. I could spend 2 hours at the library writing and get 2 pages done. 2 pages of like actual writing. Because again, I've talked about it before with this book and with the past few books. I've not been. I'll get my blueprint done first, which takes months to get the blueprint set. But then as I'm writing, I'm just basically expanding upon the blueprint. Excuse me, I'm expanding upon the blueprint and making it a detailed first draft, but that detailed first draft has a lot of energy poured into it. So when I do go through on this current pass, I can do so in like a gliding pace because I did all that hard work up front. I fronted myself that load of work. So now it's smooth sailing. As long as I don't run into any severe pacing issues or a discrepancy among scenes or anything weird, or I don't realize a plot hole, which there really wouldn't be. I've thought about that stuff pretty in depth up to this point, especially nearing the end. There's really no plot hole stuff that could potentially arise until the end. It was like at the beginning, the hardest part was figuring out, wait, what day is this? Because book 2 happened right after book 1 and only a few days after. And then this book picks up only a few days after the ending of book 2. So it's like, I think technically 5 days after we pick up after the end of book 2, and I'm just like, what day of the week is this? So every chapter right now has chapter name in parentheses Thursday. So I know where the fuck I am currently in the timeline. Sorry about the pause, I had to shit myself again. God, I got a fucking tummy ache, dude. I got a tummy ache. I've been eating taffy and drinking 7-Up. Something's wrong. Oh fuck. Yeah, so that's what's going on right now. And I'll try to give you guys updates that are significant enough just to let you know where I am, and what to expect. Oh, I'm also getting the cover worked on. I've had the idea for the cover for months, and I was thinking about drawing it myself, but then I was like, oh, I'd still rather leave it to a professional. So, but I'm banned from Fiverr, so don't ask. It's nothing. It's nothing crazy. They're just like whatever. But so I hired somebody off Etsy who I told him no rush at all. Some dude in Sweden, I think. Like no rush at all. Get it done as it gets done. 2 weeks, 6 weeks. The book's not gonna be done for a little bit. Take your time, and because he's allowed to take his time, I was able to get it done for cheaper. No rush. So definitely a comfortable price, willing to pay. And I gave him all the references he needed, and that's open communication. So given the art style, I'm optimistic, but we'll see how that comes out. So anyway, I'm gonna end it here. 10 minutes. Thanks guys for watching.